so important with all.
Broadcasting from the University of Missouri St. Louis and online at umslradio.com. This is UMSL Student Radio, the U.
Okay, normally we have the recreational chemistry show on. That's at 5 o'clock till 6 with DJ Craig, and he is on his way down to the Fish concert at Fox. So we've got DJ Harlan in the house and Jeff Mosier of Blueground Undergrass here live at the U, broadcasting to you live from the University of Missouri St. Louis. So we're going to continue on with some really super discussions and then play some music. And hopefully we're going to have DJ Craig call in a little bit with a live report from down on the lot. And I hope to get a live report on how it is down in Grandin, Washington. Okay?
That's a great name for a radio show. That's a great name for a radio. Is that his radio show? Recreational chemistry.
It works, doesn't it?
Whew, boy, could be anything.
Yeah. Well, I know that job.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Where you use words in all kinds of ways.
Yeah, I'm a kind of a linguophile.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Linguophile. Unto itself, yeah.
Linguophile.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things, speaking of linguophile, I just wanted to remind everybody here, because I understand here on this campus that I was told by many, many sources that if this could probably be understood on this campus more than any other campus, and that is that by driving the wedges of huge stone into cradle-like bottoms, ramps of earth trigger rope that prevent local circumstances from smelting paragraph text in the Crucible's expedition.
Can you explain that a little bit further, a little deeper for us?
No, that's
is that about as simplified as it gets?
That's my hero, Colonel Bruce Hampton.
Okay.
And I'm the only one to memorize his poetry, that in the year of OTAD, when Cray became Crobe and factories manicured stale salt lugs, the utensil ocean prevailed, then came the sixes and the sensitive film realized cabbage. Doesn't mean anything. But to his credit, he's in a beat writer's book with Ginsberg and Ferlinghetti, and he's in, a lot of these poems are in the Red Ham Book too. Believe it or not, Colonel Bruce Hampton's considered a poet.
Yeah, let's break it down for a moment.
He's just
a good friend of mine, Katie Kaufman from Columbia. Band I used to adore and still do, Blue Dixie. She was part of that family, and she dove off and produced some shows and invited Colonel to do a show. And this is back in 1990. He shows up in his bus, and a select few of us really got to kick it old school with him and sit around the campfire, as it were. And in 1990, I guess I'm like 20 years old. And I just instantly recognized this kind of cosmic, supernatural aura about him, and this just phenomenal communication that just, I could relate to it, but I was always kind of, where is he coming from? I wasn't distanced or felt out of place, but there was just this curious, have you been able to, tap into that, kind of explain that at all for me? Or
I can.
Okay.
I'm that guy.
I'd like to know your
I'm that guy, and I'm that guy because I feel lucky to be that guy, and I'm going to tell you why I'm that guy. Because I played with him. I've remained friends with him. I never allowed anything to interfere with our relationship because I had ultimate gratitude for what he brought to my table. And we've ultimately ended up best friends. We talk about every day, and just like college roommates. I deeply revere him as an artist, but he's considered my best friend. He is a almost a Buddha-like wants to point people in no direction. He is really trying to help people understand that no thingness is not just nothing. No thingness is not just no thing. And no thingness is kind of that the Zambi thing is really, there is a guy named Joe Zambi, but Bruce's contemporaries, people don't realize, are Frank Zappa and Captain Beefheart. So they did avant-garde concerts in church basements in Cincinnati a long, long, long time ago, before Bruce ever got into the Grease band and that era in the 70s. You know, during those times before he got popular as doing that, he was really kind of a remotely regional avant-garde artist. They would just sit around and hit golf balls into pickle buckets or whatever, drop fishing lures on the stage, and you know, it was this whole different way of thinking. And the way I put it with Bruce is that Bruce he is the great permission giver. So anybody that plays with him has permission to do one thing, and that's it. If you don't do it, you're out. If you do it, you might stay for a while. But if you do it, you'll learn. And there's one thing he gives you permission to do, and that you have got to play yourself. So he forces you to. Thus, in the film, the entertainment video, and with Mike Gordon, you know, forcing the character to play with the shoe on his shoulder, you know, because the ridiculous nature of that, as it looked, it forced that player to reckon with the moment. That player couldn't just imagine chicks he was going to meet once he learned to play the guitar. And he couldn't just sit there and play the guitar and imagine bands he was going to put together. They were going to make a lot of money. And he couldn't just sit there and play guitar and imagine that bust that they were going to have once they became big time. You know why? Because he had a shoe on his shoulder. And one of the first times I ever saw Bruce do that to us, we were getting ready to go on stage, and there were just a slew of people at the planet Earth in Knoxville. And the opener was Gwar. So after their show, you had to bring in mops and everything. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like a food fight.
Yeah.
So we come out, and they were just, you're down there at UT, and there's this 1988. There's a slew of beautiful women, just people ready for us to come out. And he looked at all of us. He says, "Okay," and he gave us all a piece of paper towel, just a little piece of paper towel. And he said, "When we go out, we're gonna. No, you can't go on the stage until you put this in your mouth." And we had to walk out on stage with a piece of paper towel in our mouth at one of the biggest shows we'd ever had. None of us got it, but we all did it, because he had this look in his eyes like, you better do it. And we had to go out there and make these noises with paper towels in our mouth. And later on, we learned he calls that going below. In other words, you have to put yourself in a position to where you release yourself from the danger of cheese frog. And cheese frog is his term for cheesing out.